Hey everybody, welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset. All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertsen here with Coach and Dr. Sam Rhee. We are here to break down the 2022 CrossFit Open. We're not going to break down the workouts individually. We already did that, and I'm sure you don't want us to go through that again. But we are going to talk a little bit about what you can take away from the Open, what did the Open actually test, all the changes that we've seen in the Open and what we're going to be anticipating in the future. And I think most importantly, I think the back half of this will be if the Open kind of opened your eyes a little bit and it got the engine revving about just with the motivation and drive to improve for next year's Open, which is 11 months away. Can't wait, sort of. We have a few things for you guys that we hope you can take from this discussion and apply to your training for the next year and also your lifestyle. So Sam, any just opening thoughts on the 22 Open in general?
Yeah, the first thing is I want to thank everyone who actually participated in it, all the way from the elite athletes all the way down to the people who started a month ago. It was awesome to watch everyone compete. I think this was clearly one of the most accessible Opens, and we saw that with the number of people that were competing. And here at our gym at Bison, I loved watching everybody, absolutely everybody do it. Everyone was so gritty. They really gave their max effort with it. And this always reminds me why I believe in CrossFit. It's because when I see every athlete, worried, concerned, fearful, or confident, just try to take on a workout, a challenge, you really see what people are made out of.
Yeah.
And I loved that. That was the best.
Yeah, we had a lot of highlights here, and I'm sure if you're at a CrossFit other than Bison, you probably had the same thing. People getting their first pull-ups, their first chest to bars, RXing their first open workout ever. It's a huge deal, and it goes so far beyond the highlights that you see on Instagram about all these games athletes doing a workout in 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I think that stuff is less important than what happens inside the box. That just doesn't get us enough publicity or as much publicity. So yeah, just also a shout out to everyone that participated. Also, why is the Open important? If you did it this year, this now gives you a foundation to stand on, an actual objective, tangible foundation to stand on for the next year. And with the Games app, it gives you a percentile for where you rank worldwide. I know most people don't actually care where they rank, but it's an objective measurement of where you are in the CrossFit space with certain workouts, where you stand after 3 workouts, generally speaking. And what I like to look at for myself, and also if an athlete asks me to break them down a little bit, is I'll go to their app and I'll look at their scores. And in this workout, they're 88th percentile. In this workout, they're 54th percentile. In this workout, they're 88th percentile. It clearly shows you, even if you already knew it, that, hey, that deadlift workout is really what prevented you from being a little bit better overall. And it shows the hole in your fitness, right? Because CrossFit to me, and just fitness in general, is what can you do? That's always been my stance on fitness, dating back to the start of Bison, is what can you do with your body? And you can be very healthy and be a runner, but you're not very fit if that's all you do. And I think that with these workouts, we can break them down on a macro level, generally speaking, to see, all right, my percentile in this workout was my worst. What can I do other than just work on wall walks, right? That probably would not be a good idea because you don't know if the actual wall walk will ever show up again. Let's break down the first workout. It was a 15-minute AMRAP with the 3 wall walks, the 12 snatches, dumbbell, light snatch, medium weight dumbbell snatch, and 15 box jump overs, okay? The biggest thing, if that was your best workout or that was your worst workout, that was more a grunt style, low skill conditioning piece. And conditioning is not only about your heart rate, it's about muscle stamina, muscle endurance. Sam, on that, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was accessible. I think most of the people, it wasn't the actual skill of it. It was just grinding it out. And 15 minutes for all of those was a very long time.
Yeah. And so 15-minute window, right? That was the longest workout of the Open, 15 minutes. All right. And remember, guys, the Open, dating back to the start, I've done a study on every single Open workout. The average CrossFit Open workout is right around 12 minutes. This year, it was 12:30 because you had a 12-minute cap, a 15-minute workout, and a 10-minute cap. So yes, it's a little different when people actually finish the workout in 6, 7, 8 minutes. But for the general consensus, the general timeline you're looking at is 12 minutes. So the 15-minute time domain, that first workout, was above average, okay? And if that's the one that you really struggled with, I don't think it was that much about your wall walk ability. It was about your conditioning and be able to push a pace for 15 minutes. So how do I get better at pushing a pace for 15 minutes? Here's a simple rule that I learned years ago. Whatever time domain you want to get better at, you need to double that time and then add another half of that time to that time domain. So 15 minutes times 2, 30 minutes. Add another half. That's about 37 minutes, 30 seconds. So you need to get good at working out for 35 to 40 minutes. All right. That is how you get better at 15-minute workouts. And everyone's like, whoa, Dave, chill. So if you're going to be programming an open gym workout for yourself, do you need to go do Cindy for 35 minutes? No. I think what you need to do is get used to moving your body for 35 minutes straight. This could be a very low intensity piece. I would actually suggest most of them are 70 to 80% efforts, where you're never actually getting to a point where you can't talk. That's always a good rule for myself. If my coach programs something for me that says 80% effort, at any point, if you came up to me mid-wad and asked me what I had for dinner last night, I could tell you right away. Without being that heavy breathing, you're trying to stay away from that. And that is immediately where some people with conditioning, when they say, I want to get better at engine work, that's where they shut it off. And I get it, because most CrossFit classes are never going to have a 35-minute workout. So you can't really depend on your gym for that. That's going to be something you need to do on your own. And honestly, guys, I think once or twice a week would be more than good enough. But I'll tell you what, when I started working out like that, 35, 40, 50 minutes of just constant movement, bike, row, burpees, slow squats, slow push-ups, burpees, nothing overly hard, nothing overly heavy, I did notice a very noticeable difference in my conditioning overall.
Do you think that's because what Hinshaw said about training your body to clear lactate?
Yeah, clear fatigue.
While you're actually actively moving?
Yeah, so that is going to be, so we're going to touch on that too, probably down the road. Once our Hinshaw podcast comes out, we're going to probably break it down at some point and break down the course that I took with him. But yes, CrossFitters, and this is one thing he's very adamant about, CrossFitters, they train the fast twitch muscle fibers over and over again, and then they rest. They don't do anything. And he says that he thinks that's going to be a change in overall programming at some point, where instead of doing a 15-minute AMRAP stop, or say a 5-minute AMRAP, rest for 5, 5-minute AMRAP, rest for 5, that kind of interval, it's going to be 5 minutes of intense work, 5 minutes of slow work. And I'm going to start implementing that into Bison soon. After we're going to meet with our coaches next week and talk about it. And yes, there's a big part of clearing fatigue is a big part of getting better at conditioning, right? Because you can't just go for a run and anticipate getting better at 22.1.
Well, I love what Hinshaw says. He says, if you do a lot of rest, you're going to get better at rest. Right. And so you need to adapt clearing fatigue while you're still moving, because that is what CrossFit always is. You go ham and then suddenly you just drop to the floor and you don't move.
Your red line.
This is a workout where if you redlined, you would start going so slow that you would not be able to maintain a decent pace. And everything that you're pointing towards is how can you maintain a really good pace for 15 minutes, which means clearing fatigue, because you will be fatigued.
Right.
You could be fatigued in 5 minutes, and you're going to have to figure out how you're going to keep going with that.
So if you want to sum that up, guys, work longer but not as harder. That's a big way to improve that 15-minute time domain. A 35 to 40-minute workout's not as hard, obviously, but just training those slow twitch muscle fibers to help clear fatigue. All right. 22.2, what did it test? It was a very simple workout. It was deadlifts and burpees. All right. Lethal combination. For some people, this is hard to break down for the general consensus, because some people that's a really heavy barbell. Others, it was whatever. Some people are really good at moving their body weight with burpees. Others, not so much. What did that test? That was a classic CrossFit workout, in my opinion, in that you had to be a combination of strong and fast, or strong and conditioned. And if you do any sort of responsible CrossFit program, and most of them out there, I think, test this a lot, this is what you'll see. That 200 rep workout, again, that's about the average workout for CrossFit open workouts is 200 reps. Even though if you didn't finish, it's a little bit less. There is a certain skill and a certain ability that you need to move that kind of weight, but also not at the expense of not being able to move your body.
Yeah, this workout probably was my best personally, because I'm just really good at burpees. But what has changed for me over the past 4 to 5 years is just getting stronger on my deadlifts.
Yeah.
So probably 3-4 years ago, the 225 would have wrecked me. I would have gone really, really slow on them. And at this point, I've developed enough strength to be able to maintain that. But since I'm still good at moving my own body weight, that's where this was one that worked out. this one was such a misleading workout to begin with. It looks so deceptive, these ascending rep counts. And again, this was one where I think if people paced it, they would have done a lot better.
Yeah, yeah. I bet if we program that at Bison in 2-3 weeks, just like it being somewhat fresh in memory, you'd see some improvement.
Absolutely.
But yeah, how do you train for this, guys? Honestly, there isn't much I can give you other than don't skip strength day. When your gym, I'm telling you right now, we have a workout today. This is Sunday, so tomorrow's workout, again, you guys are going to hear this a week after we're recording it. But tomorrow's workout, we have some rowing and hollow rocks, and then you get to choose EMOM 10, 3 back squats, front squats, or deadlifts. You get to choose. And I know it's probably not the sexiest looking workout on paper. Probably doesn't look that fun. You might not walk out of here feeling wrecked, and we get addicted to that sometimes. But it's really important. It really is. And I still get disheartened sometimes when we have days like this, like the strength days, where there's not like a fancy Metcon in there, that the attendance is low. It just bothers me sometimes as a coach.
I love it. I love strength days. The problem is that we have a lot of really good athletes, and their body weight is just, it's hard for them to maintain. Like, I can think off the top of my head 5 awesome athletes that are way fitter than I am. I know they are, and yet I outscored them on this just because of the burpees.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to tell people, hey, listen, this is how you get better at moving your body weight.
Yeah.
Short of, I don't know, losing weight or just getting more aerobic capacity. I can't tell.
Yeah, and trust me, we're in a sensitive spot here. We know that you can't go tell everyone to lose weight. It's just not, it's not true. Not everyone needs to lose weight. But this is where, and I want you guys, if you want to hear last year's version of this, we posted this on the Botox and Burpees podcast. This was released, it was season 2, episode 15 and 16. And these were released April 24th, 2021 and April 30th, 2021. And one of those focuses, and I think it's actually still, in my opinion, it is the biggest focus of someone that wants to get better at CrossFit, is you need to get better at moving your body weight. All right. The majority of movements in the open, you are moving your body and that's it. And it's that way almost every single year. So if that leads you down the path of you need to lose some weight for the performance factor, yes. I'm not talking about your aesthetics. I'm not talking about what your friends think about you. If it is going to be that much easier for you to move your body weight with 10, 15, 20 less pounds, and you have that weight to lose, I say that's probably step 1. All right, in terms of trying to improve your performance in the CrossFit Open.
It really depends. Like, if you know you're 10 pounds overweight because of your lifestyle, and those are things that you can manage, go for it.
Yeah.
If you feel like those are not maneuvers that you can do safely or in a healthy way, then listen, don't hurt yourself doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But I do know a lot of people saying, you know what, I really know why I'm 10 to 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
It's the choices I've made over the past month or 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah. And I'll use myself as an example. Like, I've been on the heavy side over the past, I've been doing this 8 years, and there have been stretches where I was a little too heavy for lifestyle reasons. And the where I feel it the most is gymnastics. Going upside down on the rig, on the rings. Like, I literally catch the muscle ups lower, and I can't do as many. I get tired quicker. But when I feel lighter, when I'm like in that 10, 15 pounds less, I'm flying. I feel like I'm floating when I'm doing these things. So I think there's a lot of truth behind that. All right. But yeah, so to sum that up, 22.2, how do I get better at that kind of workout? Don't ever skip strength day. And strength takes a lifetime. All right. It doesn't take 2 months prior to the open. You got to start strength training right now to get better for the next year's open. I'm going to say that again. You have to start strength training right now to get better for next year's open. And always put the attention on moving your body weight. Okay. We do a lot of that at Bison every Wednesday pretty much, but every week there's multiple workouts where you're just moving your body weight. Have a lot of intensity, thought, effort, energy into that. All right. Last workout was probably the most classic CrossFit workout of the open, 22.3. It had the thrusters, the pull-ups, the chest bars, the muscle-ups, a little bit of jump rope, and ascending thrusters, which that was a first. And what I take away from that workout is that kind of workout's always going to be in the open. Even though they've changed their flavor a little bit, it seems like there's always going to be a combination of rig and some sort of barbell work, whether it's a thruster, a clean and jerk, a snatch. But that combination is probably the most common, probably the most fun kind of workout there is for, the general CrossFitter. How does one get better at that kind of workout, Sam?
There's some skill involved, so you have to be good at pull-ups, chest to bar, and bar muscle-ups.
Yep.
And those are all skills that I know a lot of CrossFit athletes at our gym have been working on.
Yep.
And you can make a lot of progress.
You can.
By working on your pulls. The double unders weren't a really big factor this year, but
108 reps. Yeah.
But in some years they can be.
Yep.
And so
Last year.
Yeah. So just, double under work is something that, we all, when we first started CrossFit, we all had to learn how to do them. And there are very many tried and proven ways on getting better at them.
Yep.
And then what do you think about the thrusters? I mean, it wasn't the heaviest weight.
Yeah. I mean, for some people, it was crushing them. But so that was like the point where they really got hung up at the end, but they were still able to motor through them. Like I know some athletes that they wouldn't call themselves big, strong lifters that were ripping through multiple reps. So it wasn't something that really tested strength that much. But what I think that workout tested more than anything was your efficiency of movement, how it impacts the end of your workout. So if you were really moving that thruster inefficiently on the first barbell because you're trying to go too fast or your movement, it'll catch up to you at the end. You'll be more tired than you should have been at the end if you were not moving well.
I think this workout, when I look at the numbers, I use this one as the gauge for how good are you at real, real quote, CrossFit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the athletes that did really well on this at our gym are the ones I consider to be the quote fittest type of athletes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They've had a good skill set, they have good motor, and the thruster weight didn't bother them so much.
High skill got tested.
Yeah.
Strength got tested.
Yeah.
Engine certainly got tested. And I think another part of that workout is it really challenged people's strategizing and ability to adjust on the fly.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that the other two were so similar and more grindy because if they had three like this, which I don't think they ever will, let's just face it, but this one was the most classic CrossFit one.
Yep. Yeah, so that's like a quick recap of the three workouts. Now, before we go into what can you take from these workouts and what can you stand on, what can you strive for macro level, and we'll try to break it down as best we can. Sam, real quick, how much has the flavor / the feel of the Open have changed? Because you've been through a lot of Opens now, so you have a lot of credibility on that. What do you see kind of the direction in terms of the direction of the Open?
Yeah, it's inclusivity. That's the number one goal, I think, for the Open, and it will continue to be that way. And Brian Friend mentions this in Morning Chalk-Up, but it's very true. They've thrown a lot of traditions for the CrossFit Open out the window. There's no repeat WOD this year, which flabbergasted most of us.
Yep.
There was no Olympic lifting. The barbell, I mean, you could say it was heavy, but it wasn't really heavy. If you look at last year, it was a one rep max complex.
Yep.
The year before that, it was deadlifts at 315. The year before that, there was a squat clean ladder that's 275, 315. In 2018, there was a one rep max clean. So there has always been heavy lifting. They threw that out.
Yep.
They threw out row, and it's only 3 workouts this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're clearly programming accessibility, relatively short time domains, as you mentioned. Longest one was 15, nothing over that, and a lot of body weight.
Yeah.
If you look at it, you have to move well, and they're going to continue to do that. If you're a really good CrossFitter, you're really strong, you have good skills, but your body weight movement is not your best, it's going to be really hard to progress to the next level where you will do great.
Right.
But you're gonna have to prove that you can move your body first.
It's almost like with the CrossFit principle. One of the main CrossFit principles is get really good at that bottom tier stuff first. Get good at air squats, at push-ups. Stop worrying about your squat snatch until you get perfect at the other stuff. And not easier said than done. And there's a lot more. It goes deeper than that. You can't just use that as a general statement, but there's some truth to it. That's all. 3 weeks. I'm not sure that's enough to really find the truest answer of who gets to advance. Now, and I do think that, let's say for these people that finished in the top 10%, we had 14 from the gym. Shout out to them. Awesome job. Very proud of them. But I would say this, programming probably helped them a little bit. It's not the reason why they're in. But I will say this, if you barely made it or you barely missed it, that was probably a programming thing. Like I could probably manipulate the workouts and the people that didn't make it were on the bubble could probably replace a couple of people that barely made it just based on that alone. So but this is the thing about it, that 3 weeks, there's not a lot of margin for error. If your weakest movement or your weakest kind of workout comes up and your strongest movement does not come up and your strongest kind of workout does not come up, you're screwed. So I think that I would love for CrossFit to guarantee that we're going to get 4 scores a year. Whether that's they go to 4 weeks and say there's never going to be a 2-parter, that's fine. Or they go to 3 weeks and say one of them will be a 2-parter. I think 4 weeks gives them the flexibility of, because I don't like being able to predict things. And I feel like I knew what was coming based on the equipment list, what we've already done, the fact that they're being inclusive. So I would love the fact if the Open was 4 weeks, and some years there's a workout with 2 scores, some years there's not, but there's always a minimum of 4. Whereas if they ever said, all right, we're going to keep it 3 weeks, but we promise there will be a 2-part workout, it's coming at some point, especially if it doesn't come the first 2 weeks. So that's like my 2 cents on that. Not that it matters that much. We do get asked for feedback from our regional manager, so I'm going to just throw that at him a little bit. There was not Olympic lifting.
Well, I mean, I would say this. If you had to answer, is this CrossFit Open representative of what CrossFit is?
Yeah.
I would say not completely.
Okay.
It represents some parts of what CrossFit is.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they did sacrifice some of the complexity of CrossFit just to make it more accessible.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with that because we were able to bring in way more new people into the gym.
Yeah.
But you can't just look at what you did in the Open and say, okay, I am a CrossFitter, because you're really not.
Right.
And I feel like now it's going to be our job as coaches, especially for the relatively new athletes, to have to bring them along in terms of skill development for all the things that the Open really did not test. I don't have a problem teaching box jump overs or bar facing burpees, but when I have to teach a relatively new athlete a snatch or Olympic lifting or some of the rig work, that really wasn't tested here.
Yeah.
And so I just hope that all the athletes that have developed an interest in CrossFit that have been brought into the fold, we can have them continue and not think, okay, well,
yeah, why are you teaching me this if it's not in the
Open? Not in the Open.
Right.
And that's the part where I'm kind of like,
I get it.
I have some mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to bring a lot of people in, but I also want people to know that, listen, if you really want to be good at CrossFit, and I mean, for whatever reason, this is not truly representative of all of what CrossFit is.
Yep. Cool. All right, so now let's start breaking down, if you're listening to this right now, and I've had a few discussions, and I promised other people that I'll have the discussion with them at some point, just really busy right now. In terms of all right, okay, I want to kind of up my game a little bit this year. I want to improve a couple things, and I think we should all be thinking that way in some regard. Like, I know we don't need to go CrossFit or die mentality, but I love being around people that say, I want to get a little bit better, just generally speaking. And how you get there, there's a lot of different routes to that destination. But I'm going to try to give something that everyone could take it from. And then it's going to be up to you how deep you want to take this. And this first one is probably a good example of that. And I can just put it under the tier of your rate of movement and your rate of rest, okay? There are a lot of studies done. There have been a lot of studies done, both by big dogs, now Crafted Coaching. I've done my own on this. How many reps per minute does one need to average to consider themselves an elite athlete, a top 10% athlete, someone that a top 50% athlete? And this helps. It's hard to break this down in a short amount of time because different movements take a different amount of time. But generally speaking, wall balls, burpees, deadlifts, light to medium cleans, right? I am huge on how many reps per minute can you do. And I've heard this strategy so many times in 22.3 and in past open workouts. My plan on this workout is to do a set of 9, then a set of 7, then a set of 5. Cool. Awesome. I love it. That how long are you resting? Right? Because if someone says, I'm going to do a set of 9, then rest a minute, and then a set of 7, rest a minute, and the other person says, oh, I'm doing 9, 7, 5, 2, but I'm only resting 10 seconds in between. We're talking about a completely different result. So I want to start challenging people to think about how long are you resting in between these sets. I want more thought put into that than what sets are you doing? How many reps are you doing in a row? How many reps are you doing unbroken? How long are you resting? And that's one thing I always stood out to me about Ryan Ratcliffe when he was here. That dude wasted no time with transitions. He actually set things up in the gym so that he could take 2 steps and start the next movement, 2 steps next. And that was, to me, that's partially why he does really well with scoring. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, but I mean, the thing is Ryan Ratcliffe can move at a pace that is unreal and maintain that pace the whole time. I think for someone a little more mortal like me, I think the biggest issue that I often see is people's first round is their fastest round.
Okay.
And their last round is their slowest round. And even if you can't think every day about pacing so much, at the very least think, can I make the back end of my workout the faster part of my workout as opposed to the first one. I have seen so many people who just go balls out at the beginning, and then they hit a wall and they just slow down and then they finish wherever they finish. And if they actually said, all right, I want my last half of the workout to be faster than my first half of the workout, and if they made that their goal, just that alone probably would change and improve their pacing to a certain degree.
Yeah, reps per minute.
Exactly.
You know, because pacing sometimes gets taken a little, like, I think it gets said too much, like pacing. Pacing is not just about how many your rate of movement, it's how long you're resting.
I see so many people, the first 2 or 3 rounds, great. And then about, if it's a 10-round workout, 5 or 6 are crappy.
Yeah.
And then they go balls out on the last 1 or 2.
Right.
And then, ooh, that was a great workout.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
You know, you sagged right in the middle where you didn't need to.
Right.
So can you actually figure out a way to make your back half of the workout faster than your first half?
Yep.
I usually try to think that way.
Yep, good. And it's planning and execution, okay? But I think the planning part is actually where people struggle the most, because if you can't plan, you probably will not execute, okay? So let's use 22.2 as an example, because the math on this workout is really easy. It was a 10-minute workout, had a 10-minute cap, and the reps, if you finished, was 200 reps.
Right.
So it's easy, right? You needed to average 20 reps per minute. The amount of people that came up to me and said, hey, my goal is I want to get to this part of the workout. So let's say, all right, cool, 160 reps. And sometimes the number is based on what somebody else got, which, you know, we'll talk about that later maybe, but that is 16 reps per minute. Do you realize that you want a score of 160 and you have 10 minutes to get there? That is a rate of 16 reps per minute. And now if you really want to get detailed, then I know this gets overwhelming, but I'm telling you guys, if you've been CrossFitting for 5, 6, 7 years and you want to get better, it's not going to come from trying harder. You need to train a little bit smarter. Okay. Yep. So 16 reps per minute. How long does a bar facing burpee take you? I don't know, 3 seconds, maybe 4. Okay. How long does a deadlift take you? All right. Just picking it up, literally. And then if you want to go touch and go, 2 reps in a row, how long does it take you? 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So now you could start breaking this down, that all I really need to do is an average of, because the deadlift is so much quicker than the burpee, right? It could probably make a case that it takes half the time to do a deadlift that it does a bar facing burpee. You can allot more time on your burpees than your deadlifts, right? So now you start breaking down. I did this for Debbie Rourke. She redid the workout. She was on the bubble of qualifying, so we really needed to squeeze out reps. And I broke down how long she would have on each single set, how many reps per minute, how many reps per minute, blah, 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 blah. And she crushed her score. And I don't even think she worked harder than her first score.
That's always the goal, not to have to try harder.
Yeah, because at some point, like I think all these guys, I think all you athletes out there, you try hard. I look at you after the workout, you try really hard, and you deserve credit for that. But you probably could have done better if you thought about it, planned this out a little bit. To finish that workout, you needed to average 20 reps per minute. I'm going to start throwing some numbers at you guys for general movements, okay? And it gets a little tricky because some movements have like a burpee box jump over is hard to project, a ring muscle up, higher skill stuff. But if you're ever averaging 20 plus reps per minute, you are moving very fast.
Okay, so let me throw something at you right now. We haven't pre-discussed this. I'm not actually sure how it's going to go.
It'll work.
Okay, so Wednesday's workout, for example, 7 rounds. 10 bar facing burpees.
Very good example.
12 kettlebell swings, 14 wall balls.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Say the workout again.
All right, 7 rounds of 10 bar facing burpees, 12 kettlebell swings, 14 wall balls. Going into this workout, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to figure out what my time is? It's a 27-minute cap. What should I be thinking here?
So that's going to be a really cool workout to watch. You get to coach that one too. I get to coach that one too. It's going to be fun to watch, right?
That's why I'm telling you. I need some advice.
Yeah, seems that Sam usually does the workout that he coaches. He usually does it on Sunday morning, and he coaches it Wednesday. But credit to him, he literally just got off a red-eye flight from California like hours ago.
Yeah, I'll do it tonight.
So he's super tired right now. He's running on fumes. So that workout, I almost made it a 21-minute cap, knowing that pretty much nobody would finish it.
Okay.
Maybe like your conditioning freaks. So let's pretend I made it a 21-minute cap. Okay, 7 rounds, and the workout is you get to work for 30, rest for 30 until the workout is complete.
That's right.
So it's going to interval. So you had to move fast. But I made those reps that the fastest athletes can average that amount of reps in under 30 seconds for the entire workout. Okay, so your fast athletes can do 10 bar facing burpees in 30 seconds. Okay, your fast wall ballers, basically unbroken wall balls, you can do 12 wall balls in 30 seconds.
I see.
If you can hang on to the kettlebell, you can do 14 kettlebell swings in a minute.
It's 12 kettlebell swings, 14 wall balls.
Yeah. So, okay. So then, and that same number applies. Okay. So the catch of that workout, that will be a good eye-opening piece. How many reps per minute can you average? Okay. Because if you're getting to a point where you start off with 10 bar facing burpees in 30 seconds, but at the end of the workout, you're only doing 6.
Yeah.
There's something you could take note on.
Okay.
Your capacity needs to improve there.
Okay.
If you're going unbroken on the wall balls the first 3 rounds, but now you get there when you're tired and you can no longer hang on to all those reps, there's a kind of a point that you can work on, that I need to get better at my rate of movement on the wall ball.
So this is more of a skills assessment test or a capacity test
yes.
to see, okay, can I get 14 wall balls done in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Can I get 12 kettlebell swings in 30 seconds?
Your elite athletes in this gym will finish that workout, and like they can probably get one of those movements done every interval and chip into the next.
And if you can't, you can see how much you are getting done and then see where you're sitting with it.
And it's also good analysis of, do you have 2 movements that you were getting done, and one was struggling? Like the pullers in our gym will probably have no problem with that kettlebell. The squatters in our gym will get through those wall balls. The engine conditioning, I move my body well, people will get through those burpees. But vice versa. If you really struggle to move your body, I bet you start struggling with those burpees. I think you're 3 rounds in.
So this is where you should take notes after the workout.
It's huge.
And be like, okay, this is where I am, and this is how you're starting to prep for next year.
Absolutely. I do think this Wednesday's workout, and again, this, by the time this airs, this will have already, you guys have already done it, but hey, maybe we'll repeat it. Or you can look at your score and back from Wednesday, because we record all those, and just put some thought and analysis into it. So yeah, that's a good example of that workout. Will be a good example. I think the deadlift one is a good example to look at. The only thing this gets a little tough with people is when skills become involved, like a ring muscle up, the handstand push up, the wall walk. It doesn't apply for every single movement, but I can tell you this right now. I could, if an individual came up to me and wanted to have a conversation about them in relation to any movement, I could have that conversation with you. How many reps from, like, I remember when I was prepping Marissa, Liza, Karam, and Julia for the Garden State Open last October. It got canceled, but they were doing some prep work, and we did a workout, and we broke down how many reps per minute they were doing. And I think they were both all around, like, in a simple workout like this, like 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, and they all started at 17, 18, 19. So if they didn't start at 17, 18, 19 reps per minute, okay, but they started at 15 to 16, their score would have been better. So these are numbers you need to know, like, where are you at right now? If you're in the 20 to 25, I would consider you an elite athlete for that kind of workout. If you're 10 to 12, then we got some work to do. All right. So part number 2 of what can you take from the Open? What can your personal experience, your cycle, all right, your yearly cycle, but in my opinion, more important, your weekly cycle. And this happens to people every single year. They're not used to going ham on a Friday. All right. Because generally speaking, if you work out 4 to 5 days a week, you're probably here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 times, 3 out of those 4 days. Hard workouts. You come in Friday, you probably don't always feel great. You get through the workout. It's fine. Exercise, healthy, good job at you, right? If your performance is your main goal, right? And we've done a podcast on this before. Are you more in this for performance? Are you in it for health? It can be a mix of the two. You can go back and forth, but I think it always helps to know where are you leaning more towards. And if you are on the performance side and you really want to do well in the Open, you need to prep your body throughout the year to be ready for game day Friday. All right, what can you do to be ready for game day Friday? I think you need to start tapering your intensity levels Wednesday and Thursday. All right, so if you want to go hard Monday, Tuesday, go for it. You either take off or taper your effort Wednesday, Thursday, because I don't want you coming in here on Friday in shambles. Thoughts?
Absolutely. And I think the older you get, the more important this is.
Yeah.
This year, in years past, I probably over-tapered.
Yep.
Mainly because I had some injuries or
Right.
whatever. This year, I felt healthy. I went pretty hard Monday, Tuesday, went pretty light Wednesday, and then just did the workout Thursday night.
Yep.
And I felt like that worked out because of the taper, but I really made sure that I actually was going after it Monday, Tuesday, because I feel like you have to.
Yeah, you have to improve there's got to be times where you're
right. If I was like slacking and just half-assed it, I don't think I would be ready on Thursday.
Yep.
Like you have to get your body up.
Yep.
And then let it recover and then go for it.
And I think this is your best Open, right?
It was, but again, I don't know
workout.
if it was workout specific or not.
All right. So anyway, now this is another thing. Okay. And I started doing this for myself. I've dealing with a little injury the past couple months, so I had to change up things a little bit. But my plan, and I did it for most of January, February, is I knew that I was going to be doing the open workouts on Friday night. So I started making sure that I was going to be in the Friday 4:15 or 5:15 class. And I made sure that I was bringing the heat. Like I was going to try to really go hard in those classes. And I'm still in that mode right now, whether it's my own Friday afternoon workout or it's a Friday 4:15, 5:15 class WOD, I'm bringing the heat that time. But I start prepping for that mindset Wednesday, Thursday. And here's the thing. If we do that big open party Friday nights, this is where it gets tricky. I talked to Elena about this. She crushes workouts every day at 6 a.m. every day, right? And that night, it's a big deal here. We really want as many people to come in Friday night and do the workout. And she did it. And I remember her saying, she goes, I think I could have done a little bit better on that workout if I was Friday AM. And it probably is true. And it's not because she didn't go hard. It's just her body's been on that Friday 6 a.m. clock for 2, 3, 4 years now, I feel like.
She still made the quarterfinals.
Oh, yeah. So I don't think it really affected anything. I was more like, I think she probably thinks she had a little bit more in her for that workout. But it's something to put thought into that especially if you're someone that's on the bubble of whatever goal you're pursuing, 5-10 reps can end up meaning something. And if you really do feel like you're going to be on that, hey, I work out best at Friday AM and performance is your goal, get in there Friday mornings, right? My goal, we had at the Hinshaw interview, so there was one Friday night I did not get it in. And then Brock had major issues on 22.3, so I had to just do it later at night. So there are certain things, like you don't want to be a robot and say, I can only work out at Friday 6 a.m. But if you can control what you can control, right? Those were two situations I could not really control. And I think if you start setting yourself up. Now, here's another thing. I'm not huge on repeating workouts, but I'm not against it at all. I want to say that again. I think there is some skill, and I've worked on this a lot over the years. Do a workout, 2 days later, do the workout again and beat your score.
We saw it both ways this time. I mean, I saw some people make amazing improvements. Saw a couple people where they didn't really change that much.
Yep.
Some of it, and we've talked about this, is the reason behind why they decided to redo it.
Yeah.
I think the motivation behind it does play a factor in terms of whether you are improving or not, because it's your buy-in, it's your investment into it. But then there are some workouts that are just not really conducive to redos as well.
That's true.
We talked about this.
Yes, we did talk about that. That thruster one, it would be a tough one to improve. But I mean, hey, if you got to go, I just think it's an important skill. Don't do it every week. Honestly, guys, between now and next open, if you did this 8 times, 7 times, like once a month, once every other month even, I think it would help you understand yourself more. It's not even for the performance aspect of it, but there are so many people that they pace the workout so poorly the first time. All right, hey, let's slow this down so that you feel good halfway through the workout. Okay, fine. It doesn't mean anything on a random Sunday in August, but you might learn something about yourself. Wow, it really does help to slow down. Like, it's not just the coach saying it, right? And I also think this would be just a little bullet point under that is, and I know not everyone's comfortable about this, but I think videoing a workout every now and then and just breaking yourself down helps out. I know you've done that before, and I think one of the takeaways is like, wow, I rest a lot.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Every time I watch myself, I'm like, damn, I really rest so much.
You learn a lot by watching yourself.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. If I was a coach and I had a competitive athlete, I would force them once a month or once ever to redo a workout and see where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, as an athlete myself, it would be hard for me to make myself do it.
Right.
But if I could do it, I know a real coach would make me do it. Let's put it that way.
So I think that's just something like that's your cycle. And then the last thing I want to say about your cycle, this is really important too. I think we have a lot of people that are very responsible about this in the gym, so they don't need to hear it, but others not so much. Your fueling will start 48 hours before your workout starts. So if Sam does the workout on Thursday nights, what he's doing Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night with food, hydration, and sleep is going to affect what he does that Thursday night. I think there's a common mistake that athletes make that, hey, I'm working out Friday night. I'll eat a good lunch. I'll eat a good lunch today. So it's not sitting in my stomach too much. And I think that's something I can get deeper in this with you guys with like when to eat carbs, when not to eat carbs around your workouts. I'm big on not eating within hours of your workout, but on a general macro level, what you'd start doing to your body, food and hydration 2 days, will impact your performance. Hydration, being a little dehydrated, can decrease performance by 25%.
So playing beer pong Friday night did not help Sunday? What? What are you talking about?
That I remember, we talked about this in the podcast too. Liz is like, should we not do the open party on the first week because some people do it Sunday? I'm like, hey, you can be an adult about that. That's your own decision. But yes, that's a good point. If you are going to take this as serious as possible, but yes, that would be a bad idea. If you are like saying, hey, I really need to focus on my performance, you should not be drinking a night or two before that performance. And I think that's a huge part of your process, and that's something you can work on and tweak. I don't have a template. I hate when coaches have a template. You need to experiment with yourself and write this down. This is where food journals help a lot. Is you can really write down, if you look at a month's worth of what you ate, when you ate it in relation to your training sessions, was it a good training session? Was it a bad training session? That alone will help performance. I feel strongly about that.
I agree.
All right. So the last thing that I think athletes can take from the Open, and we were talking about this prior too, it went in two different directions, and we're just going to roll with it. You guys can take whatever you want. You could agree with it. You could disagree with it. I don't really care, because I'm not saying I'm right about it. It's just something I've noticed as a coach and as an athlete. Your training environment and who you're training with is often the separator between that extra 5% you're trying to get to, or the 5% that you left out on the table. And we're going to go two different directions on this. We're going to be positive first. All right. Especially at a gym like this, Bison, it's a very unique gym, incredible fitness level, #1 in North America. What's up? But I want everyone to know that there are so many athletes in this gym that you can pretty much go to any class at any day, and there's going to be someone in that class that will push you if you go in with the right mindset. And I see it all the time. Like, I think there are a lot of people that come to the gym at certain times because they saw someone signed up. Whether it's a friend or not, they want to push. And if you are leaning towards a top 10% goal or a percentile goal, any percentile, top 80%, whatever, you're now competing against other people, right? That percentile goal does not come from you trying hard. You are beating other people, right? If you don't get to the goal, you got beat by other people. That's it. That's objective. And I think it would pay throughout the year, be responsible, be mature about this, but quietly competing with other people to get the most out of yourself.
Absolutely. There are reasons why Matt Fraser, Tia Claire Toomey trained together. They were competing with each other, but not directly against each other. So there was something healthy there.
Yep.
I mean, we all know when you jump into a class just because you get that extra kick
Absolutely.
From working out with others. And if you have someone that you can compare yourself against, and we all do. I know I do. I look at the numbers, and I'm always looking at somebody else. I know people have told me that they look at my numbers. And whatever you can do to motivate yourself that way with someone is great.
Sam and I are both, not to put ourselves on a pedestal, but we're both pretty disciplined if we have to train by ourselves. Like, we can go get quality work in by ourselves. We've done it a lot. And it honestly, it's not. But we're disciplined, and we have goals. And we know that you can't always depend on your buddy being there or class. There is some stuff you need to do on your own.
Well, that was the con that I think you were about to mention,
right?
Which is, and we've talked about this before, if you need your latte before you work out every time, you need that buddy with you every day to work out with, that's your dopamine hit. Which we talked about, then you're now relying on all these external factors to get you going constantly.
Right.
Occasionally they're great, right? Dopamine works great if it's not always the same repetitive pattern.
Right. And you're not adding layers to it every single, you're just constantly looking for a new fix. That's
exactly right. So if you say, I have to have my workout partner with me every time, otherwise I'm not going to do well.
You won't do well.
You're not going to do well. So you know what? Maybe you need to learn how to work out by yourself and be self-disciplined, and then only occasionally. So you have to find that happy medium that works for you.
Yeah. I think everyone should take this as a challenge. Do things by yourself sometimes. Go do a 2K row for time by yourself in the gym on Sunday afternoon, and no one knows you're freaking doing it. Can you PR that? Let's see. If you can, you're on the right track. If you're not even close, or you quit, you're in a bad spot. All right. And so I also think when it comes to other people, I think this is going to be taken wrong by some. It's okay. That you should try to find some people in the gym that you actually are trying to beat, and they don't need to be your friends. And I think this is where Bison has not had an issue with this in so long, and I'm so happy. We had dealt with it years ago. I really don't think it's an issue anymore, in my opinion. But this helps me. I'll say this right now. If there's a running kind of low skill, low to medium weight workout and Owen puts a score up there, I am trying to beat that dude, even though I know I probably can't in that kind of workout.
I thought you were friends with Owen.
I am friends with Owen, but I am trying to beat him, all right? And like there's no doubt about it, but him and I can both handle that. Dave Boak, if there's or Brian DiCarlo, those are, in my opinion, they're the two strongest lifters in the gym. If there's a very heavy workout that if I can be somewhat close to them, I know I'm in a good spot. I am trying to beat them. I'll say that right now. Put that out there. If there's a heavy lifting workout and they're in there, I'm trying to beat them. But it never gets to the point where it's like a distaste or a dislike or jealousy. That's where it goes down the wrong path. But that is what's helped me be a competitor over the years. I am trying to beat people. And I think we all need to put some thought into this, that when you're coming in and you have a competitive goal, if you have a percentile goal, you have a competitive goal.
The caveat to that, I would say, is that you, and I know you because you've done this for a long time, you move excellently through it. It's not like my form will break down to get those last 5 reps so I could beat
quality movement
or add 15 more or 5 more pounds just because even though I'm not feeling so great about it.
Yeah, I won't cut standards short.
No. So if you maintain your standards and you can still shoot for a number that someone else has put out there, that's awesome. But it does take practice and some trial and error to know what you can push and what you can't push. I'm not going to say it's for advanced users only. I'm going to say everyone should try that. But you should also know, don't sacrifice
the
form, consistency to try to be overly intense with something.
Yeah, and this it all comes down to interpersonal maturity. I don't think every athlete here really uses the gym to its max capacity when it comes to the people. I really think that there are so many good athletes here and so many kinds of workouts that so many different kinds of people are good at, that you really there's always someone in this gym you could try to chase after, in a particular workout. And I really think that could be to your advantage as long as you're mature about it and you really are doing it for the right reason.
Yeah. You have to have a healthy ego. Like when Bo crushes you on a workout, you don't sit there and sulk for 5 days.
Never happened. But
you only sulk for 1 day.
Yeah. And no, but like it does help. And I've trained with people that are better than me. And I do feel like my best results or the best shape I've ever been in is when I've trained with them a lot. And I would always get beat. And I never got upset about getting beat. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I do think I break down people all the time after workout, watching how they act. And sometimes it seems like they're truly upset because somebody else beat them. And I'm like, man, you're not using this correctly. Like that you learn from those and that can help you so much in the big picture. Stop giving a damn about where you fucking rank where you rank in a particular workout. It's so irrelevant. All right. And one more thing just popped into my head that I want to tell people to focus on in relation to the Open is we brought up standards. This gets a little dicey sometimes in the Open in our gym, and people getting a little competitive with each other, / they're trying to reach their top end goal. Put a lot of attention into standards. And it gets old here as an athlete sometimes. Hey, handstand push-ups, your butt can't touch the wall. But then we still see people with their ass all over the wall at the end of a handstand push-up.
Yeah, my respect for athletes really is in proportion to how well they move, not what their score is. But when I see someone short something, and listen, I give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt because a lot of times you just don't know that you're squatting to depth or 100%. You're doing whatever.
Yeah, it's not always a mental cheating,
right?
Yeah.
But when I do see people and I feel like it's intentional that they're shorting it, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to respect people like that.
Yeah. And that's where we as coaches and me as an owner, like I get a little perturbed sometimes when someone needs a certain judge. And there's some emotional factor there, so I'm cool with it. But other times I do think there's someone like, hey, I'm going to get away with it if this person judges me. And like simple shit, like a burpee, straddling a line on a burpee, squatting all the way down, standing all the way up. And
pull-ups, chin over bar.
Yep.
Whatever.
All these things. Like I judged Randy the other week. She did 22.3. She got to the jumping chest bars. Like she was trying so hard. She was like 2 inches short over and for like 7 minutes straight. There is a huge part of me that just wanted to say like, all right, that's fine.
Dude, I judged my son, Nick.
And
I no-repped him like a bazillion times. He was so pissed.
And he was upset. And it's hard. And trust me, it's hard. But I just think that that's a very vital route to getting better at CrossFit is doing things correctly.
It's a standard.
And not expecting an outside judge to look the other way. Like I'll tell you that on the deadlift burpee workout that I did well on, but I watched it and I know with my mixed grip, my arm is naturally like bent and I'm trying to move so fast.
Dude, it was so hard to judge you on that workout.
Right.
I will tell you. And I actually went and watched some games athletes afterwards to see if I was holding to standard.
Right. Yeah.
And it was to standard. There were actually a lot of games athletes that did worse in terms of standards.
So I took my video and I sent it to a games judge.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, like, I'm not going to like go change my score. But I was like, I need to know for my own sake because I do straddle the line. Not because I'm trying to treat, I'm just trying to go as fast as I can.
Listen, all games athletes do that.
So I sent him the video and I said, hey, if you were judging at the games and you saw this, am I bouncing my barbell? And he said, no, you're not bouncing your barbell. He goes, but we are told to look for the elbow bend prior to like it bending more before it gets to the ground. So I'm like, man, it is close.
You know why? Because you are letting the inertia of the barbell bring it down, and that's all you're doing. You're just letting the barbell fall.
Yes.
But
it's almost like someone bouncing at the bottom of a squat. Like they're just falling and coming back up.
That's exactly right. And so when I saw that, and listen, it was really hard in the moment. But then when I went and looked at games athletes, I said, listen, it's that elbow bend sort of.
So Wadapalooza did this one year. They said they used all metal plates for the deadlift workout.
Oh, to prevent that.
Yeah. So not even to prevent it. It's just like people were moving that way, but there is no bounce. Like when rubber bounces on rubber, it's going to bounce.
That's going to trash concrete if you're...
Yeah, so I think they had a special flooring for that workout. But you can't do that at the gym. There's no way. We're never doing that at Bison. We have a new floor. But like even Adam Ranson told me last night, he goes, when you were doing your wall walks, like your second foot was like just, it was so hard to see if your hand was moving too early. But I'll say this right now, and I've told you this, I told Adam, please no rep me.
I wasn't afraid of... What I was most afraid of is that if I didn't judge you correctly, you would be the one most mad at me holding you back for giving you a score that you felt was not appropriate. And so I know you hold yourself to a standard that I was like, holy crap, I hope I don't mess this up.
I really do appreciate, and I want everyone to hear this, I appreciate when a judge no reps me. Like in my head, I'm like, thank you. I really, especially when there's people watching. Like and at the end of my deadlift workout, my head touched the barbell.
Yeah,
I got up
and then you came back down again.
Came back down, and you want people to see that because it would be one thing if I'm up there saying standard, and I don't do it. Then it's like, all right, well then I'm not going to do it either because members of a gym will follow what people do that are in charge. End of discussion. Yeah, I want to talk about that with standards throughout the most of the year in relation to this kind of thing, like your open, your rank, all that. Your scores in July and August don't matter. Your workouts do, your plans do, your approach, your quality of movement, your scores don't matter. So if your scores are a little less, but you are really holding yourself to a tight standard, and it's going to speak volumes about you as a person, but I also think it's a better route to getting better at CrossFit. All right. So guys, thank you for listening. That was a little bit long. We broke down the open, kind of broke down what can you take from the particular workouts in regard to your performance, and then what can you take on a big picture perspective. And now it's going to be on you / maybe have some discussions with us as coaches about how to break yourself down as an athlete and what can you do to improve your performance for next year. We got 11 months and we'll see you there. Thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.